I remember what the point was now. I was talking about Robert Plant, wasn't I? So anyway, yeah, my friend Blair, I should point out, his surname's Plant. So anyway, Blair Plant, he's an actor. He's great. He was in The Railway Children, really, really good. Anyway, so Blair was playing the fat one with dysentery. Anyway, so we were doing the shows and we had a list of all the audience who were coming, and on the list it had Robert Plant. And I obviously just thought, oh, Blair's got a relative coming, I wonder who it is. And I didn't really have a chance to check with Blair because I think he was getting ready, he was getting into doing what actors do before they go on stage anyway. So I was thinking, oh, well, we'd better wait, maybe it's his uncle, I don't know. Robert Plant. Waited, show should have gone up, still not there. So we thought, well, we'll wait a few minutes. We had to wait about a quarter of an hour for this bloke. If I hadn't thought, oh, it's Blair's relative, I would have told him to jog on. We'd have started without them. As it was, this fucking hairy bloke with this, what could be described as a much younger woman, wandered in eventually and sat down, and so we could start. Disgraceful. Another bloke we had, Ludovic Kennedy. Now, I don't know if you'll have heard of him. I think he's dead now. No offence if he's not, but he was knocking on a bit then. He was a famous sort of BBC clever person, you know, a bit like Jeremy Paxman, only completely different. A knowledgeable, sensible person. He came up to do something, and then we just used to get film crews from all over the place, you know, BBC, and then, you know, foreign film crews as well. I don't know why they'd all just come. Oh, we thought it'd be really good to do a program about this out of the way place. Well, I mean, frankly, you know, beating off people, film crews with a sticky stick. In the end, couldn't get any work done. Anyway. That's a useful thing I was going to tell you. This is interesting. You see, this now we've come back onto props and things. Yeah, for the thing about Laurel and Hardy, which may have been called Laurel and Hardy or Stan and Ollie, I don't know. For it, had to be quite a simple set, so you know, minimal. We've got a very small stage anyway, so I decided the best thing to do was build a giant bowler hat, because Laurel and Hardy obviously were famous for wearing bowler hats. That's my mime of a bowler hat, by the way. So I made this bowler hat about a metre high, and then proportionally, it was a full three-dimensional bowler hat, but then with one side sliced off a bit. So from you could turn it so the audience saw a bowler hat. Then if you span it round, on the back was cut off straight, vertical, and out of there you could pull, there was a table, came out with a leg that flopped down, chairs, and then at the bottom there was a bedroll that came out of it, and there were things for putting props in and stuff. It was quite clever, I have to say. So I made that. It's quite tricky to make. There wasn't room in the theatre, so I had to build it outdoors. And what I discovered, anything you may have heard about midges and the north of Scotland, it's true. There are a lot of midges, and they're right little bastards. What I found was the best way to deflect them was either citronella coils, so these sort of green coils that you set fire to in there. They slowly smoke. It's all quite twiring. I got a bit addicted to them, to be fair. I'd sit with them in the theatre during the show with just this smoke enveloping me. The other thing that was good is if you drank whiskey, because it seemed, I have documentary evidence of this. If you drank whiskey all the time, as you gently sweated it out through your pores, it seemed to scare the midges away. So that was a useful thing to be able to do. Where was this going? Well, this was actually just an explanation of the previous short talk where I mentioned Robert Plant, wasn't it? Yeah, anyway, yeah, loads of other people came. Nice place, Mum, loved it. The second year I went back, Lisa, Lisa, who I'm married to, brilliant Lisa, who paints things. I met her in between the first and the second season I did on Mull. So I did the first season on Mull and then went off to build panto props for York Theatre Royal, which is a gig I did for a few years. It was nice little number that. You go there in October and build loads of things. I particularly remember that year I had to build a cuckoo clock that burst open with a chicken shooting out of it. It was a good gag. I'm not entirely sure why, but anyway, so I was there building this. For those of you who are interested to know how, I based it on a rubber chicken that you can buy on eBay really quite inexpensively. In those days, I don't think there was eBay, so I did it. I went to a joke shop somewhere where they sold rubber chickens. Got rubber chicken, and then I needed to populate it with feathers. That proved more tricky. So in the end, I stole a feather duster off the stage doorkeeper at the Theatre Royal in New York, and used those feathers instead. And it was really, really good because the way I'd stuck them on, this was slightly unintentional, but it was quite a good gag. During the course of the run, whenever this the cuckoo clock would go, bosh, cuckoo, big stuffed rubber chicken covered in feathers would come out, and every time it shot away again and the doors closed, the odd feather would just then blow slowly to the floor. It was a really good effect, brilliant. Obviously, it wouldn't have worked if the run had been much longer because you'd have ended up with a bald chicken, but for the purposes of the panto, it was great. Anyway, that's where I met Lise, because I was in there doing that one day, and then my friend Scruffy Gareth, who I went to college with, was a scenic artist. He was painting, and he had this gorgeous person working with him who had pink dungarees on, and quite a nice arse, to be fair. Anyway, so I'd met Lise, and then I'd done my panto props, and then I'd gone to do pantomime in Halifax, bloody Peter Pan again, and then we were going to do a tour of Peter Pan. So while we were doing the panto, we discussed with the producer that he needed to redesign the set so we could tour it and stuff. And then I got Lise the job of redesigning the set. And then I got my old boss at York, who by then had left York Theatre Royal, Stivo it was called. He had set up his own company building sets near York. So I then got his company to build the set, and I went in and did bits, then Lise came in and painted bits, then took it on tour. And then I was touring that still when I then had to go back to Mull for the next season. So that was a bit tricky. But what I managed to do was, it was complicated, but I ended up back on Mull and then got Lise to come to Mull to design shows we were doing there, which was really, really brilliant. She did some gorgeous designs and we had a really nice time. And then Blair came back up because at the end of the season on Mull, we were then going to tour the north of Scotland and the Outer Isles with a couple of shows. Laura and Hardy, so Blair had to get fat again, and then this other show called The Chukta's Tale, which was a Gaelic piece written by somebody who could speak Gaelic and things. That's how we got our funding, I think. There was some Scottish Arts Council funding dependent on us being very Mohammed Rule, Mohammed Raz, which from what I can remember that's something in Gaelic. So we took these two shows and we toured them, and Lise came as well. So Lise and I were the crew, and then Blair was with us as well as one of the actors, and some other actors. It was good. We went all over the place. We went to a number of islands, including one where Prince Charles goes on holiday, and I actually used his toilet. Not his toilet, but I mean the toilet he uses when he's there, because we stayed at the same place that he stays at. We also we were tempted to be. There was a citizen's arrest. Should we put that? Because there aren't any police on the island, but there's one island there where Prince Charles goes. They got word. They thought we were drug smugglers because when we were on the ferry going across, I had squirted. We had these little syringes for doing something on the set. Anyway, I'd squirted some Lucozade at Blair on the boat, and the boat skipper obviously assumed, as a result of that we were heroin dealers. And so when we got to the island, it was difficult. And then, anyway, we did the show. It didn't seem to go down very well. Not many people in the audience. We thought, well, that's a bit miserable. We come all the way here to do this show. Do the bloody Chukta's Tale, Mohammed Reyes. Not many people here. Turned out it's because someone on the island had died. You can't really plan for that sort of thing, can you?